what they refuse to tell you about the Kansas City Chiefs. So we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Kansas City Chiefs news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is the Chiefs have found their biggest problem and how they plan to solve it for their next matchup. The Kansas City Chiefs returned to practice on Wednesday after their 21-17 defeat to the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday. The loss marked Kansas City's second loss in 3 games, with the Chiefs continually failing to score after halftime during the stretch. As the Chiefs conduct an autopsy on the seemingly deceased second-half offense, one thing is obvious. Teams are selling out to prevent tight end Travis Kelce from making plays. Speaking before practice, quarterback Patrick Mahomes claimed that the team's inability to connect on deep passes, infamously seen on the team's final drive on Monday night, allows teams to focus more heavily on Kelce. "I think y'all can see it on the tape," the face of the league observed. "They're putting 2 or 3 guys on him. They understand how much of a threat he is and how well he's played for a long time now, so they're trying to take him away the best they can. It's my job to get it to the right guy so we can execute. If we hit some of these deep passes that we are missing, it's going to take teams out of those double teams and triple teams." In the locker room on Wednesday, running back Jerick McKinnon lamented that no other Chiefs player has seemed to step up given the attention Kelce commands. "Just a little double teams," he explained. "They're going to make it tough on him. He's leading us right now, and I were a defensive coordinator, I'd probably do the same thing. He demands that respect, and I think teams have shown that throughout the year. Leave room for somebody else to step up. We've got depth, we've got players. It's just about who's going to step up. When one of us steps up, we'll get this thing going." That the league's best tight end commands extra attention is not new. Mahomes noted the difference this season is that the team's other weapons are not taking advantage. "Teams have done it in the past," he recalled. "I think we have just connected on other throws, and it takes teams out of it. Whenever you double-team a guy or put 3 guys, it opens up a lot of space for me running the football, and it opens up a lot of space for other guys to win. As much as it sounds like they can do it and just double-team Travis, they're putting themselves out there for big plays to happen. If we can connect on those, it'll take teams out putting 2 or 3 guys on him." In an interview published this week with the Wall Street Journal, the now 34-year-old Kelce admitted that he does think about retirement. While Chiefs head coach Andy Reid does not believe anything is imminent, he does concede that Kelce and Kansas City's coaching staff is having to account for toll on the star's body. "I think he enjoys what he's doing," Reid said on Wednesday. "I'm sure, though, with the mileage on him, he's got some aches and pains. We try to help him out with that. He doesn't like coming out. We make him come out in practice and pull him out of plays. He wants to be in on everything. The older he gets, he's got to handle that part. When you get mileage on you, there's a time and a place." However, Kansas City's current offensive woes heavily stem from Kelce seeing sticky coverage while on the field. Should the Chiefs manage him more, that puts even more pressure to find another reliable option in the receiving game. "Somebody else has to step up," McKinnon reiterated. "Somebody else has to make plays. Right now, that's what we're searching for." In the wake of Monday night's clash against the Eagles, the Kansas City Chiefs find themselves at a crossroads, navigating a season marked by unexpected challenges. At the forefront of the struggle is the unyielding support quarterback Patrick Mahomes continues to show for his wide receivers despite a series of crucial drops that have raised eyebrows. The pinnacle of this challenge was the deep ball to Marquez Valdes-Scantling, a potential game winner that slipped through the receiver's grasp. However, instead of pointing fingers, Mahomes took the blame upon himself, expressing a desire to make the catch more manageable for his teammate. In Mahomes' own words, "I could probably have thrown it a little shorter. He was that open." This self-critical approach echoes Mahomes' post-game sentiments, where he consistently refused to lay blame on his receivers. "That didn't just lose the game. There was a lot of stuff that happened," Mahomes emphasized, illustrating his commitment to taking responsibility for the team's performance. Coach Andy Reid, offensive coordinator Matt Nagy, and Mahomes collectively opted for a diplomatic stance, refraining from public criticism of the struggling receiver group. Reid acknowledged, "These are good players. We're okay. We've just got to get that straight." The second story is Kansas City Chiefs rookie wide receiver Rashee Rice is becoming a star. Earlier this year, the Kansas City Chiefs described rookie wide receiver Rashee Rice as drinking from a fire hose in terms of absorbing head coach Andy Reid's complex playbook. That, combined with the track record for rookies in Reid's offenses in the past, didn't inspire many with the confidence to believe the SMU product would be a difference maker right off the bat. 10 games into the 2023-24 season, though, it's the second-round pick who leads all Kansas City wideouts in targets, receptions, yards, first downs, and touchdowns. His yards per target of 9.1 trails only Marquez Valdes-Scantling on the team. Rice is Pro Football Focus's third highest-graded rookie in the database. Of that same group, he also ranks third in yards per route run at 2.19. Earlier in the year, it was very clear that the Chiefs were finding specific times to put Rice on the field. The team unleashed him in scenarios that suited his understanding of the offense and what he could handle at the time. He got described by some as more of a package player because of that, but that tag may not be following him anymore. On Tuesday, offensive coordinator Matt Nagy praised Rice for his progress and said he's trusted to do many things in the offense now. Not necessarily, I think he's done a good job of being able to show us that he can do more, Nagy said. He's taking the time throughout the week to understand certain route concepts. We know what he can do with the football in his hands. We saw that yesterday a few times. He's a physical runner, he has strong hands. Now I think you're noticing that some of his snaps are going up slightly as far as his percentages of snaps. We want to continue to do that. That's part of development and the trust factor, which is real. The more we can get at that, the better we will be because he's a very good football player. You're right, he is growing, but it will be in increments. And we like the path he is on right now. Using PFF's tracking, Rice compares quite favorably to the rest of the Chiefs' current wide receiver group. Not only does he have a commanding lead in yards after catch, but his YAC average is also tops on the team. The aforementioned YRR metric is over a half-yard more than Justin Watson. When targeting Rice, quarterback Patrick Mahomes has a 125.9 passer rating. The next closest Chief, Valdes-Scantling, at 83.8. With all of that said, Rice is far from perfect. Ironic relative to the above tweet, an overwhelming amount of Rice's success comes against zone coverage. He averages 3.54 YRR versus zone, but that number drops all the way down to a team-low 0.68 in man-to-man assignments. He still has a long way to go before developing into a full-fledged leading target for an NFL team. On the other hand, he technically is a leading target as a rookie, despite his developmental arc being far from finished. Rice's involvement in the Chiefs' offense may not be changing a whole lot from a production standpoint, but his snap counts are telling. Dating back to Week 7, his lowest number of snaps played was 37 in a loss to the Denver Broncos. That total was still good for 61% of available reps, so Kansas City is giving the young receiver chances to prove that he can stick in just about any situation. Nagy is a fan of his advancement, and it's possible that there's even more in store for a player who is still growing as a boundary wideout. For someone taken at number 55 overall in the draft less than 7 months ago, Rice is off to a more than solid start. The Kansas City Chiefs had everything going for them in the first half of their Super Bowl rematch versus the Philadelphia Eagles. They dominated defensively in the first half and were quite efficient running the football as well. That's why Skip Bayless claimed it was just mind-boggling to see them collapse the way they collapsed in the second half. Bayless called them out for giving Jalen Hurts opportunities to hang around and get back in the game, stating that his feel for the game is just too big and it's just a matter of time before he makes you pay. The controversial pundit talked about the Chiefs being shut down in the second half again, which has obviously become a major issue. The Chiefs no longer look like the strongest team in the AFC. The race atop the AFC is going to be one for the ages, as the picture seems just wide open. The Baltimore Ravens have been the best team in the league during stretches, but they've blown some leads late in games, and Lamar Jackson has had some turnover issues. The Cincinnati Bengals are out of the race with Joe Burrow out for the season, and the Buffalo Bills have been as inconsistent as Josh Allen. Notably, the Cleveland Browns could also enter the race with that defense, but with no Deshaun Watson, it also seems like a bit of a long shot at this point, so anything can happen on that side of the bracket. The third story is Chiefs moving on from Monday's loss to prepare for the Raiders in Las Vegas. Defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo spoke about one of the team's highlights during the loss. cornerback Trent McDuffie. You talk about a guy who plays inside, he plays outside, we blitz him, we ask him to do a lot of things. The first part of that is the mental. I'm real impressed with that part of that and what he's done, Spagnuolo said. I was happy to see him get a couple of sacks last night, made a good play on the ball that they tried to throw out there. He's just got some really good instincts, and that bodes well when you're playing inside like that. Some of the same old problems came back on Monday Night Football. Turnovers, penalties, and dropped passes all popped up during the game. Offensive coordinator Matt Nagy talked about how the team planned to address the continued underperformance of the Chiefs' wide receiver group. He says the team will focus on building up the players' strengths. In the end, we have a lot of trust in these guys, and we believe in them. I think that's very, very important, Nagy said. You hear that, and you see that from Patrick Mahomes.